Imagine, if you will, a mirror in the dead of night. You stand before it, expecting to see your familiar face, the one you've worn like a mask through countless days. But as the light flickers on, the reflection stares back, not with your eyes, but with shadows that dance and whisper secrets you've long ignored. What if this mirror isn't just glass, but the gateway to your true self? What if the ego you've clung to is merely the illusion casting those shadows? Welcome, dear seeker, to this journey into the ego's shadow, awakening beyond illusion. Breathe deeply now. Inhale the curiosity stirring within you. Exhale the weight of what you think you know. Let us begin where all illusions crumble, in the quiet recognition that the ego is not your enemy nor your ally. It is the storyteller who weaves tales of separation. You see, the ego whispers, "I am this body, this name, this collection of memories and desires." It builds walls around the soul, declaring, "This is mine, that is yours." But pause for a moment. Feel the breath moving through you, unclaimed by any label. Is it yours? Or does it simply flow, like a river indifferent to the banks that try to contain it? Consider the ancient tale of the wave and the ocean. A solitary wave rises from the sea, proud and distinct, proclaiming, "I am separate. Look at my crest, my foam, my journey toward the shore." It fears the crash, the end of its form, clinging to its individuality with every surge. Yet as it breaks upon the sand, it dissolves back into the vastness from which it came. Was the wave ever truly alone? Or was its ego, the belief in separation, merely a fleeting illusion? You too are that wave, rising and falling in the ocean of existence. But what happens when the wave glimpses the ocean's depth? That's where the shadow emerges. The shadow, you see, is the unseen twin of the ego. It's the part we deny, the desires we bury, the fears we project onto others. In the light of day, the ego shines bright, polished and presentable. "I am kind," it says. "I am successful." But in the quiet hours, when the mind wanders unchecked, the shadow stirs. It whispers of jealousy unspoken, anger suppressed, vulnerabilities hidden like roots beneath the soil. Have you felt it? That subtle pull when someone else's light dims your own? That's the shadow calling, not to harm, but to integrate. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a grand oak tree, its branches reaching skyward, leaves rustling in the wind like applause for its majesty. The ego is those branches, visible, admired, striving ever upward. But without the roots delving into the dark earth, twisting through mud and stone, the tree would topple. The shadow is those roots, gritty, unseen, drawing nourishment from the depths. To awaken beyond illusion, we must embrace both. Not reject the shadow, but invite it into the light. For in harmony, the tree stands eternal. But how does this illusion take hold? It begins innocently, in the cradle of childhood. A child reaches for a toy, and the world responds, "That's yours." Thus the seed of mine is planted. As years unfold, layers accumulate. Achievements become badges, failures become scars. The ego constructs a fortress, defending against the unknown. Yet in this defense, we lose touch with the boundless self. Time itself becomes an illusion under the ego's gaze. "I must hurry," it urges. "Achieve more, be more." But sit with me now. Close your eyes if you wish. Feel the present moment expanding. Is time truly linear, or is it a circle where past and future dissolve into now? Reflect on love, that elusive force. The ego approaches love with conditions. If you love me, you must. It builds expectations like fragile glass towers, shattering at the first disappointment. The shadow lurks here too, in the fear of abandonment, the jealousy that simmers unspoken. But true love, beyond illusion, is the recognition of oneness. It's the lovers seeing their own reflection in the beloved's eyes, not as possession, but as shared essence. Have you ever loved so deeply that boundaries blurred? That's the awakening peeking through. Fear, oh fear, the ego's faithful guardian. It parades as protector. Don't risk, don't change, stay safe in the known. Yet fear is the shadow of courage unclaimed. Imagine a bird in a gilded cage, wings clipped by its own hesitation. The door swings open, the sky beckons vast and blue, but the ego clings to the bars, whispering, "What if you fall?" Awakening comes when we step into the void, trusting the wings we've forgotten we have. Fall? Perhaps. But in falling, we learn to fly. Now let's wander into the realm of control. The ego thrives on it, gripping the reins of life as if steering a wild horse. Plans, schedules, outcomes, all illusions of mastery. Life laughs at such folly, sending storms to uproot our certainties. The shadow here is surrender, the art of letting go. Picture a leaf in autumn, releasing its hold on the branch. Does it resist the wind? No, it dances, twirling in surrender, finding beauty in the descent. What if you release just one grip today? A worry, a grudge. Feel the lightness. But wait, there's more. What if control itself is the greatest illusion? Healing emerges from this dance of light and shadow. The ego wounds us with separation, but awakening mends through unity. Think of a shattered vase, pieces scattered across the floor. The ego laments the loss, clinging to fragments. The shadow holds the glue, the hidden strength in vulnerability. In meditation, we gather those pieces, not to restore the old form, but to create a mosaic, more beautiful in its imperfection. Have you ever sat in silence, feeling the cracks in your heart? That's where the light enters. Time, that relentless river. The ego measures it in ticks and tocks, regretting yesterdays, anxious for tomorrows. But beyond illusion, time is eternal now. Each breath a universe unfolding. Pause here. Inhale the scent of this moment. Exhale the chains of chronology. As we delve deeper, consider the paradox of self. The ego declares I am, yet in quiet meditation, the I dissolves. Who remains? The observer, vast and formless. Stories abound of sages who laughed upon awakening, realizing the joke of separation. One such tale, a seeker climbs a mountain to find the master. Who are you? The master asks. I am the one seeking truth, replies the seeker. The master smiles. Then who seeks when you find it? The seeker pauses, and in that pause, illusion cracks. But what of the body's illusion? The ego identifies with flesh and bone, fearing decay. The shadow whispers of impermanence, the cycle of birth and death. Yet awakening reveals the body as a vessel, the soul as the eternal voyager. Feel your heartbeat now, not yours to own, but a rhythm in harmony with the cosmos. Curiosity builds, doesn't it? As we explore further, let's touch on desire. The ego chases it like a mirage in the desert, thirsting for more. Fulfillment? Fleeting. The shadow hides contentment, the joy in what is. Imagine a garden where flowers bloom not for harvest, but for the sheer delight of blooming. Awakening is tending that garden, without attachment to the petals. Harmony of opposites calls us next. Light and dark, joy and sorrow, the ego polarizes, choosing sides. But beyond illusion, they entwine like lovers in eternal dance. Sorrow deepens joy, darkness defines light. Have you wept and then laughed in the same breath? That's the shadow integrating, the ego yielding. Now let's weave in a story from the mists of time. There was once a king who ruled with iron fist, his ego a crown of thorns. He built empires, amassed treasures, yet slept uneasy, haunted by dreams of loss. One night a wanderer appeared at his gate, clad in rags but eyes aglow with peace. "What is your secret?" the king demanded. The wanderer replied, "I own nothing, thus lose nothing." The king scoffed, but curiosity gnawed. He followed the wanderer into the forest, where shadows played under moonlight. There, in silence, the king faced his own shadow, the fear beneath his power. As dawn broke, he awoke, crown discarded, heart free. What if you too discarded a crown today? A belief, a role. Feel the shadow step forward, not as foe, but as friend. Personalize this now. Have you ever stood at a crossroads, ego pulling one way, intuition another? That's the shadow's whisper, urging balance. Or in relationships where the ego demands perfection, but the shadow teaches forgiveness. Love isn't flawless, it's the embrace of flaws. Healing through awareness. The ego resists, fearing exposure, but in meditation, we shine light gently. Sit with discomfort, breathe into it, watch it transform. Integration begins here. Imagine applying this now. In your next conversation, notice the ego's urge to defend. Pause. Invite the shadow's wisdom, empathy, vulnerability. See how connections deepen. As we flow onward, consider nature's lessons. The moon waxes and wanes, ego in fullness, shadow in darkness. Yet both phases complete the cycle. Awakening is embracing the whole. Rhetorical question: what if pain is not punishment, but the chisel sculpting your soul? The ego recoils, the shadow endures, revealing beauty. Stories from modern life. A busy executive, ego-driven by success, collapses under stress. In recovery, he meditates, facing the shadow of neglect, family, self. Awakening, he rebuilds not empires but bonds. Fear of death, the ultimate illusion. The ego clings to life as possession. Shadow accepts transition. Beyond, eternity. Let go now. Visualize releasing a balloon, ego's worries floating away. Feel the space created, harmony in chaos. The ego seeks order, shadow thrives in flow. Dance with both. Have you dreamed of flying, only to wake bound by gravity? That's ego's limit. Awakening transcends. Metaphor. The caterpillar's ego is its crawl, shadow the cocoon. Butterfly emerges beyond illusion. Curiosity. What lies in your cocoon? Reflection on joy. Ego pursues it externally, shadow finds it within. Simple breaths, present moments. Integration. Today, pause in nature. Feel oneness. Conclusion nears, but let's linger in paradox. You are nothing and everything. Ego dissolves, shadow integrates, awakening blooms. Breathe with me. Inhale light, exhale illusion. And so, as this journey fades like mist at dawn, ponder this. If the ego is shadow, who casts it? Carry this wonder. Return when ready. Namaste.